sure. So yeah, so just to maybe put a definition on the term, because I think there's always some confusion around it. The idea of becoming a thought leader is one where you are starting to be seen as a visible expert among an audience that you're trying to reach through the content you create. And the content you create might be written content, it might be video content, audio content through a podcast, or public speaking. It's sort of domain agnostic. But what you're doing is not just, a lot of lawyers and other people create content, but what you're trying to do to become perceived as a thought leader. And just one important point here is, I don't think thought leader is a title we give ourselves. It's something we earn, and other people start calling us that, right?
True.
So which points to the fact that it takes time. This is not something that happens overnight. This is not the type of marketing strategy that, you can go out and, it's not like running Google ads or something, right? It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen quickly. You have to put in work. But that's the value in it, because many people aren't willing to put in that work to create valuable ideas and share them with the world. And so as a result, those who are, can really benefit from that. So it's really this distinction between, when it comes down to marketing, there's two ways to go at it. You can either buy attention, so that would be the advertising model, or you can earn it, and that would be more the thought leadership model, where you're sharing your ideas and gaining visibility and trust with your audience by being helpful, helping them to gain new insight, bringing valuable ideas to the table that help your audience, meaning your prospective clients, do their jobs better, run their businesses more effectively. So that's kind of the idea. That's maybe the definition we talk about, and then it comes down to a few things. When you think about, okay, how do I think about, aspiring to become someone who other people perceive as a thought leader? And it really comes down to first starting with a question to ask yourself, which is, who is the audience I'm trying to attract? So I'll just use my experience in my consulting work as an example to maybe make this more relevant. Our business is focused on lawyers and law firms exclusively. A lot of the ideas that I'm writing about, speaking about, are generally centered on marketing and business development. The tactics and the ideas I share are potentially relevant to a much broader audience. So a consultant, an accountant, other people in professional services, the core ideas are all transferable to those domains, but I focus all of my content and the language I'm using and the emphasis I'm making and the stories I'm telling on the legal community specifically, because the narrower you focus your audience and as a result your content, the more it will resonate with a particular audience. So that's really why you have to start by saying, okay, I am going to define my, in this case, maybe ideal client audience. Who am I really trying to attract through my content? Because if I'm just trying to appeal to everyone, it's likely that the content I'm creating won't be all that resonant or perceived as valuable to any particular audience, because it'll be too general, it'll be too watered down, it'll be too generic. Whereas when you speak to one single audience, you can really contextualize that content and those ideas for that specific group of people that you're trying to reach. And it doesn't need to be, the mistake I think that's made is, if I can reach more people, if I can make my ideas more broadly relevant, then the more opportunities will come my way. But that's not the way it happens. It's when, again, this particular group of people, this minimum viable audience that you're attracting really resonates with your content. They start to see you as someone worth paying attention to. And as a result, they start to develop trust in your ability to deliver your expertise, that they start to perceive you as a thought leader. And then if you're the one who's bringing new and interesting ideas to them on a consistent basis, well, then you're the one who's going to be first in line when they're thinking of who to hire to help them handle those types of issues from a legal services standpoint. So it's really about starting with, okay, who is my audience? And then once you understand that, then the task of creating content to serve that audience becomes a lot easier. If your thought leadership or content strategy aligns with the goals for your practice, meaning you're writing or creating audio or video content for the audience that you hope to serve as a lawyer, well then, and that you do serve as a lawyer, well then you'll have lots of great ideas for content, because you'll be drawing upon the work you're doing for those types of clients to understand what questions are they asking, what problems are they dealing with, what opportunities are facing them. And then you can just build your content based on your real world experience interacting with these people. So there's that alignment between the two things. And then lastly, it's all about understanding, well, how do I, okay, so I've identified my audience. I've identified the key questions that I need to be focused on in order to create content. And I'm actually starting to create content. Well, how do I make sure that content is reaching the right people? So this is when it comes down to, oftentimes an overlooked key step when you're on the road to becoming a thought leader is publishing and promotion strategy as it relates to your content. So like, again, I'll go back to my own example because it's obviously one I know well and I can speak to. But for my audience of lawyers and law firms, I know they're all on LinkedIn, right? So I don't worry about any other social media platform. I guess I'm technically on Twitter, but I don't really spend any time there. Facebook, Instagram, all that. It's all LinkedIn, because I know that's where my audience is spending its time and attention and looking for information of the variety that I provide. So that's where I'm devoting all of my attention, and I'm publishing all of my content. I'm creating content directly on LinkedIn as posts. And I have a blog, and I publish with other publications that cater to the legal industry, and I'll promote that content on LinkedIn. But it's all understanding what is the ecosystem in which the people you're trying to reach are spending their time and attention. So that's the key thing, is to understand where are your people looking for information, such that you can start showing up there through your content, and you'll become top of mind and build trust as a result of that.